index cost of acquisition and index cost of improvement. Before we get into the technical details, let me first explain to you what does this concept means. Let's say for example, there is an assessee. He acquires an asset during 2001-2002 and the cost that he pays is 1 lakh. Okay, and let's say the cost of this is the cost of acquisition and 50,000 is the cost of improvement. Do you understand the meaning of these two? This means the price at which the asset is acquired, cost of acquisition. This means that whenever you acquire an asset, so let's say for example, if you acquire a piece of land which has all the bushes and the land is unleveled, very bad, cannot be used, you do the leveling of the land. So the first level when you do it is to improve the quality of land. That is known as cost of improvement. Okay, so this is your cost of acquisition or cost of improvement. Now let's say for example the assessee sold this land during 2010-2011, okay, for 5 lakh. If you think of it, the value of this, which is the cost of acquisition and cost of improvement, if you just reduce it straight away from this asset minus 1,50,000, you will get 3,50,000 on which the assessee has to pay capital gains tax. But think of it for a moment, the value which he invested, which the assessee invested in real terms, is it actually 1 lakh? This 1 lakh which was invested in 2001 and 2 might be worth 2 lakh today. Why? Because the money has time value, right? So something which used to come for 1 lakh 10 years ago today might not come for 2 lakh. In order to provide a benefit to the assessee for passage of time, in case of long-term capital assets, please note this is available only in case of long-term capital asset, the government allows something which is called indexation. Okay, what does indexation mean? Indexation means every year government says we will tell you that there is a index for any given year. So let's say the index for 2001-2 is 150, okay, and the index for 10-11 is 300. This index is always provided by the government, right? So what the government says is, instead of giving you a cost of 1 lakh, which is allowed as a deduction here, we will increase this 1 lakh by the same proportion by which the index of the year in which the asset is transferred, which is 2010-11, the proportion or the ratio of the index of these 2 years will be taken into consideration. So what I will do is, I will take my cost of 1 lakh or 1,50,000 as the case may be. I will multiply it by the cost inflation index of the year when the asset is transferred and divide it by the cost inflation index of the year when it was purchased. So if I do this, my 1,50,000 actually becomes 3 lakh. Right? So my cost of acquisition and cost of improvement becomes 3 lakh. If I reduce this 3 lakh from here, my capital gain instead of 350 becomes 2 lakh. Right? So indexation is basically nothing but a process by which the actual cost of asset of a long-term capital asset is increased by a proportion which is computed by taking into consideration the cost inflation index of the year when the asset is transferred divided by the cost inflation index of the year when it is purchased, and that is there only in case of a long-term capital asset. Right? Coming back to the legal part of it, which is now easier to understand, index cost of acquisition is defined in explanation 3 to section 48 as the amount which bears the same proportion to the cost of acquisition as cost inflation index of the year when the asset is transferred bears to the cost inflation index of the year when the asset was first held by the assessee, or April 1, 1981, whichever is earlier. So basically, what did I do here? Now if you notice, this cost divided by 1,50,000. 3 lakh divided by 1,50,000 is how much? 2. If you just divide this by 1,50,000, 1,50,000 being the original cost, right? And if you see 300 divided by 150, which is these two numbers, also gives you 2. So the proportion, cost inflation or index cost of acquisition, is the amount which bears the same proportion to the cost of acquisition as the cost inflation index of the year when it is transferred bears to the cost inflation index of the year when it is purchased. Right? Or April 1, 1981, whichever is earlier. Now what does this mean? Let's say, for example, this asset that I just told you, instead of 2001-2, it was purchased in 1969-70. Your cost inflation index is actually available starting from 1981. So on 1st April 1981, the cost inflation index was taken as 100, right? So if anything is purchased prior to that, then the cost inflation index of the year of acquisition, or the year when the asset is first held by the assessee, is taken as 100, right? I used the word a couple of times, cost of acquisition. The year of acquisition. What I meant was that the year when the asset was first held by the assessee, right? Now, cost inflation index is notified by the central government for various years, and it is given as under. Normally, it's difficult to remember this, and most of the time, this index is given to you in the examinations. Now, basically, the sum and summary of what we discussed in the last slide is something like this. So whenever you have to calculate the index cost of acquisition, and the same holds true for index cost of improvement also. So in case of index cost of improvement as well, you consider the cost inflation index for the year when it is transferred divided by the cost inflation index for the year when the improvement has taken place. Now, index cost of acquisition is calculated as under. There could be two situations. One, you acquire the asset acquired directly by the assessee, and second mode can be asset acquired from previous owners in the mode given under section 49(1). So basically section 49(1) is the case where you get an asset under a gift or a will, okay? So in that case, actually what happens is, let's say there was a father, he acquired a piece of land, he expired, and under the will this went to his son, who then sold the asset, right? So in this case, the cost inflation index has to be calculated as per method 2 or the mode 2. Whereas if the son would have purchased, let's say call this land as land A, if the son has purchased land B and he sells directly, then mode 1 is applicable. Now again, in this case also, you first need to see when you acquire the asset directly, when was the asset acquired? Asset acquired on or after 1,481, or asset acquired before 1,481. If you acquire it on or after 1,481, it's simple. You just consider what is the cost of acquisition, multiply it with the cost inflation index for the year of transfer, and divide it by the cost inflation index for the year of acquisition. This is what we discussed in the last slide also, right? But if your asset is acquired before 1,481, then you need to consider what is the cost of acquisition, okay, or the fair market value as on 1,481. Right? So you have to get these two details. Once you've got these details, then you multiply it by cost inflation index of the year of transfer, which is the same thing as here. The crucial or the different thing which you need to note here is the division has to be with the cost inflation index of previous year 1981-82, which is 100. So if you acquired it before 1,481, there is no CII or cost inflation index which is prescribed for those years. You have to just simply divide it by 100. Whereas in case you acquire the asset from a previous owner, okay, just like I told you in the case of gift. Now if the son gets the gift from his father, what does the son pay? He does not pay anything, right? So in that case, what we do is we consider the cost of acquisition of father, who is the previous owner. So you consider the cost of acquisition to the previous owner, multiply it by the cost inflation index of the year of transfer. This is common in all the three cases, and divided by the cost inflation index of the year in which the asset is first held by the assessee. Right?